Donald Trump let me, an average American citizen, go to his house 3 times.
What? You're an average... Wait, I'm sorry. Can any American citizen just go to Trump's house? Oh, if this comes up, I'm going to lose it. I will lose it. Oh my God, I will lose it.
That Trump sent fake slates of electors to 7 different states.
They were not fake. There's always alternate slates of electors.
You're lying. She's a liar. Liar. She's a liar. She's lying.
Trump told Bill Barr to announce widespread voter fraud when there wasn't any.
They didn't investigate it.
They did. You're lying. You're a liar.
No, because the judges said they never saw the evidence.
Okay, I'm gonna
they
go to
never
tell you
saw
what
the
happened.
And
evidence.
that's not true.
We are watching communism in live action, and you know what? I want you to have a future.
Can you define communism?
She looks so mad. Why? Oh my God. The Trump women are so upset. Let's LFG.
Yeah, so I don't understand how people get this idea that Trump is racist. You know, my family came from a communist country. They came from Cuba, and they came from Mexico. So I don't see anything or any statement that he's ever made that's racist. I mean, there's accusations, but there's no facts behind it. And
I would never... Wait, I just said I would never debate this prompt. This isn't one of my prompts, is it? Okay, thank God. All right. Why wouldn't you? It's just hard to prove. Like, proving that somebody's racist is just... unless I've got, like, dead to rights evidence on it.
In the New York newspaper.
So
saying that he
basically,
went to black people.
so what you're saying is basically he's not renting to black people, but yet he employs a lot of minorities. He employs a lot of blacks, Asians, Hispanics onto his staff. So why wouldn't he be renting to black people? That doesn't make any sense. Also,
Because
it seems
it's
to
an
me
example of racism.
but also is an example that the Department of Justice is weaponized against people that do something in life.
Can you give me evidence for that?
I'll give you evidence of that. Yes, I will, because Trump was political for a very long time. He made political statements. He was very unpopular with a lot of Democrats. He would say things that they didn't like, and they would go after him. He weaponize the Department of Justice,
Wait, but
just
that's
like they are right now. They're
evidence.
weaponizing the Department of Justice against them. They're using the government for their political power to go against him because they disagree with his political opinion. That's what they do. The Democrats have been going after him for years, even considering he used to be a registered Democrat. So I don't believe that Trump is racist whatsoever. I don't see that because I see his employees. I've been to a lot of his properties in the past, and I know that he hires a lot of minorities. So I don't believe that to be true.
Okay, so your claim here is that, well, he actually didn't do what the DOJ accused him and held him liable for doing.
Yeah, but the DOJ says a lot of things that doesn't make it true.
Let me finish real quick. So you're saying that the DOJ actually was unfairly persecuting Donald Trump, a political opponent. In the 70s, he wasn't running for any public office, so I don't know why you'd say that was a political opponent. But maybe we could look at a more intuitive example.
Well, he's made political statements in the 70s as well.
Okay,
So-
yeah, okay. So your claim is that, yeah, the DOJ was unfairly persecuting him. Do you have any evidence of that?
If you go back, do you have any evidence why the DOJ was investigating him in the first place?
Yeah, because they've got...
There's no evidence.
Yeah,
I mean, the DOJ has been an illegitimate organization for a very long time.
Okay.
So they make a lot of statements, but it doesn't mean that they're going to actually did they actually go through with anything. Nothing really happened at the end of the day. It was just a witch hunt at the end of the day.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't think you have any evidence for the claim that it was a witch hunt. I think that at the end of the day, this is a conspiracy theory. I think that Donald Trump
Conspiracy theory.
Mind if I finish real quick? Thanks. So I think that at the end of the day, this is going to be a conspiracy theory. I think that the DOJ does this. I'm sorry, that Donald Trump would perpetuate a lot of conspiracy theories. He did this with the outcome of the 2020 election. But let's look at another example that's not coming from like the DOJ or like the criminal justice system. And we're like referencing like 2012 through 2014. Donald Trump said that because Barack Obama is black, he's obviously not a U.S. born citizen. So therefore,
He did not say that he was black. He's not a U.S. born citizen.
Let's talk about the birther movement, right? So I just have a quick question. Would you say trying to take
There was legitimacy questioning his birth certificate.
Questioning his
at that
birth
time.
certificate. What's
There is
legitimacy there?
questioning because his family came from Kenya. How is he running for
Wait,
president?
Donald Trump's mother's a Scottish immigrant. Should we question his birth certificate?
They came here through the legal process. He didn't come here through the legal process.
Wait, so you're saying that
Which would
Obama's
have
parents were
disqualified-
undocumented migrants?
Which
One second, I just want
would
to
have
clarify this.
disqualified him as president.
I just want to answer a question.
Which would have
I
disqualified.
want to ask you a question.
Sheriff
No,
Joe
one second, I wanna
Arpaio,
ask
you
you
were
one
friends
question.
with Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Also, wait, hold on. Is that even true? Would it disqualify you? I thought if you were born on U.S. soil, you're an American citizen, even if your parents were illegal. Or did they might have changed that over the past like 7 or 8 years, but I thought that was true. Because I thought Republicans used to complain about it all the time. I think, God, I hate that I used to read these stupid books. I think Michael Savage used to call this daisy chain immigration. He would complain about this shit all the time. I don't know why I'm looking for this time, but yeah, I don't know. But
So, you know, you're looking back at Donald Trump's history. One thing I do want to say, I don't know if you are aware, Palm Beach didn't used to let African Americans there. Donald Trump sued the city of Palm Beach to allow black membership at Mar-a-Lago. That is not racist. I think one of the problems that we have a lot on the left, every time there's a disagreement, we get thrown, you're a racist, you're a sexist, that we have to allow
Trump was one of the first club owners in Palm Beach to open to Jews and blacks, but he did not need to go to court.
black membership at Mar-a-Lago. That is not racist. I think
Destiny was right. This would be a shitty topic. Yeah, the problem is that this is a topic that's too susceptible to... Wow, guys, we have 2 more events that are coming up before the election. Progressive Victory is organizing an event that I will be at for at least one day in Las Vegas that's happening on October 26th and October 27th. And then if you can't make that one and you'd prefer to go canvass over in Pennsylvania, there is an event on the 2nd and 3rd. The Democratic National Convention, the DNC, somebody for the Democrats is organizing that one. I won't be at that one, but other DGGers might sign up. If you're interested, check out the link in the description below or go to progress.win to sign up for either of those events. It's too susceptible to like political brainwashing. Like, I think in an ordinary circumstance, you would say being racist, I think, is kind of being racist is like a one-drop rule. It's kind of like being it's like being a pedophile. Like, let's say that I like one 9-year-old, but I like 100 30-year-olds. You wouldn't call me a pedophile, right? It's like, what if I 1,000 30-year-olds? What about 10,000 30-year-olds? Like, well, no, if you one kid, people are gonna think you're a pedophile. People would generally say the same thing with being a racist, right? But the issue is if you're politically minded, you might say the exact opposite, right? So like people say, because technically you would you give pros to counter the racism argument? Let's say you called like 5 black people the N-word, but you also had like 10 black friends. I think most people would probably still assume you're racist. But if you like the person, you might go, well, look, he's got so many black friends. Or he does something. It's like, okay, yeah, but he also calls black people the N-word. I don't know. This would just be a topic I would be I would never debate this. Is somebody racist? I'm going to need like some. Well, there's also another thing too where when I think racist, because slurs are awesome and I like calling people racial slurs. When I think racist, I want like ideology. I'm wholly uninterested in name calling. Like I want to see some, like Nick Fuentes, I could say like, well, this guy's racist. He literally believes in, like in intrinsic, essential genetic differences between race that are unerasable by changes in culture or environment. There's some essential absolute thing related to a person's race. And I think these are like racialized or racist. Hold on, wait. What the fuck? Debating this topic is not worth it.
I think one of the problems that we have a lot on the left, every time there's a disagreement, we get thrown, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're this, you're that. And it dissolves the discussions that we should be having on policies. Secondly, Donald Trump worked with Senator Scott to create opportunity zones in black communities. If he was truly a racist, it's not something that he would do. So I think the whole premise is he's a racist, he's a sexist, takes away from policy positions that we should be discussing. If we go to the border and we talk about rapists and murderers, yeah, they are happening. Laken Riley is now dead. We have 300,000 missing migrant children known sold into the sex trade, per the last IG report. These are important issues. Our economy is important issues.
Want to ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Are you a U.S. born citizen?
100%.
You're statistically speaking 4 times more likely to commit a violent crime than an undocumented migrant. So when you kind
They
of
shouldn't
virtue
be
signal on
here.
behalf of that.
They shouldn't be here.
Okay. All right.
And my husband's an immigrant.
Okay. Yeah, but
A legal
also,
immigrant.
Okay.
Who came here legally.
Okay, I
We've got
understand.
100 ISIS in our country right now that was reported.
We've got gotaways.
We've got 10-day Deragua. I've interviewed Oscar Blue, who's been through the Darien Gap 4 times. People are dying.
Okay, so you're saying that we have a crisis at the southern border.
Well, I'm saying that you're saying that
Yeah.
Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump loves America.
Okay. Well, first of all,
And
I
he
wanna-
puts Americans first.
I want to ask you one simple question first, and maybe we could get back to the prompt. Do you think that we have a crisis at the southern border today?
100%.
So you'd say that we also had a crisis at the southern border at the end of Trump's term because we have the same amount of
Actually,
daily
we have the
crossings today than then?
no, we do not have.
Yes,
the same
we have
amount
about
of
2,400 crossings
No, that is
today
not true.
than as we
That
had
is
at
not
the
true.
end
We
of
have up to
Trump's term after Biden's
14,000 crossings a day. The Biden-Harris administration put us back into what's called the Global Compact of Migration. They are now using an app where they use our refugee resettlement program to fly people into our country to different states. So for you to say that the Trump administration that did not have catch and release, that is not, and Biden put it back in, and then we also had Remain in Mexico, which on day 1 of Biden's administration he wiped out.
Because it was ineffective. I mean, we can
Oh,
look
it was
at-
very
Do
effective.
you mind if I talk real quick?
It's just propaganda. It's what you've heard from CNN and MSNBC.
Oh, boy.
Actually,
How about I provide you a source that isn't CNN, isn't MSNBC, and it's actually a source from Donald Trump's rally. So remember when Donald Trump got shot in his ear? What did he have behind him?
It was the chart that showed the lowest crossings
Do you
in
mind
history.
if I talk about that chart?
I
So
have the
on
chart.
that-
Should we bring it
Oh, good job, Dean.
out?
You have the chart with you?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
bring the
it.
chart out.
Can you hand me my purse, someone?
Like you have like an actual picture of the chart?
I do.
Phenomenal. Let's look at the chart. She's prepared. This is great. Oh, it's on your phone. I thought that you had like an
Well, it's a
actual.
picture. We can hold it up to the camera if they want to see it.
Okay, well, I mean, well, maybe we could just reference the data on that chart. So you're referencing the Remain in Mexico policy. So that was one of Donald Trump's day ones. He only had increasing border numbers until the day he signed Title 42 into effect. Year by year, they only increased.
Is that
Remain in
why
Mexico policy, the wall, it was all incredibly ineffective border legislation. He couldn't get Congress together to pass anything, so then he had to reappropriate
That's
DOT
not
funds
true.
to build the wall.
That's not true. Congress passed H.R. 2. It's been sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk since May of 2023.
That means that Congress didn't pass it. Wait, what? What do you think passing legislation means? Passed it to the Senate?
It was the one bill that would secure the border. Border Patrol has endorsed President Trump. Law enforcement has endorsed President Trump.
Okay.
The Biden administration and the Harris administration have failed this nation, and they have allowed this invasion of our country, and Americans are dying. And sorry, these gang members should not be here.
I have a question. So would you say we had an undocumented migrant that was like a felon, a sexual abuser, right, a violent offender that they shouldn't be allowed in the country?
100%. None of these people should be without process.
Okay, so my question to you would be, well, then why do you want a criminal, felon, sexual abuser to run the country?
Because I believe that we're suffering from an extreme case of lawfare, which I can prove. And, you know, when you look at, let's take, for instance, the New York case, the one that he's going to probably go to jail for, even though he's not guilty.
The 34 felonies?
The 34 felonies that they changed the statute of limitations in order to prosecute him.
Oh,
that they
sorry, your case is confused. So they didn't change any statute of
Oh, yes,
limitations?
they did.
1 second.
Oh, yes,
I know what
they
you're
did.
referencing. If you'll just allow me
Oh, yes, they did.
Just allow
I think she's referencing the Jean Carroll. Was it Jean Carroll? Because the statute of limitations changed on when you could sue somebody for civil liability for sexual misconduct or whatever. I don't think any statute of limitations changed. Oh, or she's talking about the statute of limitations being upgraded if a crime is used in the commission of another crime. But they didn't change any of that. That's
me.
But not only
Mind if I
that-
just have 30 seconds?
Well, we only have 40 seconds left.
I just
so
want
no,
to
you
clarify.
can't
They
have
didn't
30
change.
seconds. You got the seat the whole time.
Okay, we have 35 seconds left. What were his felonies for?
Okay, so let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the plain and simple fact that they moved the number 3 from Biden's DOJ to a state case. Let's talk about the fact that Mark Pomerantz.
they moved. Oh, that is a talking point that people have, I guess. Jesus, it doesn't even make sense. Like if you just think about it, what's even the benefit of that? Why would you? And it was the acting, meaning just temperate. Like what would be the benefit of like? I've got a great idea. Like you're trying to rig. Okay, let's take this guy who works at the DOJ and now let's have him work for the state attorney general. Like that would be my question. What's the advantage? What are you actually accomplishing here, right? Like imagine you're like that guy beat me in a race, but it's because he rigged it. And I'm like, how did he rig it? He took the steering wheel cover from his friend's car and he put it in his own car. Okay, how does that help? What?
Who worked in the Biden administration, basically pled the fifth 6th time when he said that he was talking to Bragg. And he would not talk about that. Alvin Bragg ran on getting Trump. Let's talk about Judge Merchant's daughter, Laura, who's making millions for the Harris administration and the Biden administration right now in order to prosecute Trump. That is recusal. It's going to get dropped at the Supreme Court. Alvin Bragg should have recused himself. Judge Merchant should have recused himself.
I like your power. My next claim is Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people.
This is a harder one, but it's okay. This is a little bit better, I think. But
I completely disagree with you on that. That Trump doesn't. You're saying he doesn't care about the American people. I mean, while he was president, he was pushing pro-economic policies, which were furthering the American economy. I mean, right now, if you go to a gas station, you're paying more money to fill up your car. Going to the grocery store, you're paying more for meat. You're paying more for groceries. You're paying more for a lot of things. Taxes are higher right now. So why
Taxes are high right now? We're still under Donald Trump's tax code.
We're not completely. No, that's not true.
Yes.
That's not true.
Yes.
Because each individual state can impose their own taxes.
Federal
I'm
taxes from the
going to give you. I'm going to give you an
federal
example.
tax
In Los Angeles County,
wait, why would that? Hold on. Why would you blame the president? What would that have to do? You know, taxes are higher now. Okay, well, we're still in our taxes. Okay, what about the states? Okay, what about the states? What is that? Like what?
they passed all these other measures, increasing quarter-cent sales tax here in Los Angeles County. And what do they do with the money? They misuse the money. They don't even use it to fix the streets. They allocate all this funding towards the homeless, billions of dollars, saying they're going to build all this, all these shelters. They're going to build public housing, and yet all the money goes to administrative costs. It goes into the pension system. So they're misusing the money. They're not using the money to actually help people. So if you think about someone who's going to help people, Democrats have been promising people in the state of California that they're going to do something about the problem. Yet they have unlimited power here to do whatever they want. But yet we have thousands of homeless. The LA Times reported that there was 66,000 more homeless people in the last 7 years. That's the LA Times. That's a liberal magazine quoted. There's 66,000 more homeless people in Los Angeles
Can I
County.
ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So I have like a lot of reasons I'd like to bring up here why I'd say that Trump doesn't care about the American people, but you reference his economic policy, and we could reference that. So yeah, can you name like one economic policy that Donald Trump influenced to get passed that benefits?
Oh, not the actual. Don't ask me a policy question.
Benefited the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%?
Well, first of all, the Democrats passed all these policies.
Wait, just about Donald Trump. Can you name one policy he influenced to get passed that benefits the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%?
Yeah, he tried to, during COVID, he tried to keep businesses open. I mean, Democrats were trying to close down all their states.
Can you name a
Put
policy?
Businesses that they put no. They put a lot of businesses out of business during COVID. During the past years that COVID was in existence, all the states that were liberal, Democrat-run states have controlled a lot of the process here in the state of California. Like,
Okay.
I'll give you an example.
You didn't answer my- I'm so
In the state
sorry.
of
You
California,
didn't answer
Gavin Newsom shut down the state. Ron DeSantis did not shut down the state. Yet you have businesses here that were small, that went out of business. Yet you have the state of Florida, the majority of businesses stayed in business, did not go out of business. The only businesses that went out of business, that stayed in business, were corporations like McDonald's, Burger King, and Walmart.
Okay,
so,
sir,
and
with
by
all-
the way,
with all due
by
respect,
the way,
you literally didn't
by the
answer
way,
my question.
The Democrats were benefiting those businesses because they were voting in favor of them.
With all due
Nice.
respect,
You literally didn't answer my question. I asked you to name a policy that Trump influenced to get passed that
But yet
benefited.
you're the one that
called me racist earlier, so I'm supposed to answer you. Okay, well, I mean,
Okay, hold on, wait. Hold on. I thought that this format was, so it says one woke teen versus 20 Trump supporters. I thought that the format was like you have a person that's pretty well versed in the middle, and then you have like the equivalent of like 20, like kind of people off the street, and that's kind of like the format, like a battle royale with one pro versus 20 whatevers. These people are not random people though, right? This guy must have like a podcast or a YouTube channel, and then same thing with that lady over there, because she referenced like, oh, like I've interviewed whoever. These are like trained people. Jesus. Like this whole guy's line of argumentation, everything here, this guy must do like radio or podcasting or something. Like, damn.
Answer my question. The Democrats were benefiting those businesses because they were voting in favor of.
Oh, that's true. On the Charlie Kirk one, they did have the Parker kid who's like a TikTok star person.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, with all due respect, you literally didn't answer my question. I asked you to name a policy that Trump influenced to get passed.
But yet you're the one that called me racist earlier, so I'm supposed to answer you.
Okay, well, I mean, if you don't want to have a productive dialogue with me here, I don't see what your point of even showing up to the episode would be.
Well, productive is not calling someone racist either, right?
That was the prompt.
Honestly, the question's dumb. The statement's dumb. Because it's one-sided, and it's an opinion on what we think he believes or he feels.
This prompt says Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. I would like to give you my
Now,
reason.
well, I'll actually answer the other thing you mentioned. A policy that Donald Trump pushed for that benefited low and middle income people.
More than it benefited the top 1%.
His tax policies. And I know this.
Do we know this guy? Well, I feel like I recognize some of these people. Maybe not. I don't know. I might be just crazy. Never mind. I don't know.
For a fact, because I'm middle low income. And everyone I know that's middle low income, actually, I don't know that many. Everyone makes more money than me.
Okay, do you mind if I-
no, the
Mind if I hop in here?
only people I know of that complain about Trump's tax policies are those that make a reasonably high amount of money. There is nobody I know that makes over like 200-something K that doesn't complain about his tax policy. So I don't know what you make doing this. It's probably more than I make. I kind of wish I'd
Wait, what?
Hold on.
low and middle income people.
More than it benefited the top 1%.
His tax policies. And I know this for a fact because I'm middle low income. And everyone I know that's middle low income, actually, I don't know that many. Everyone makes more money than me.
Okay, do you mind if I-
no, the
Mind if I hop in here?
only people I know of that complain about Trump's tax policies are those that make a reasonably high amount of money. There is nobody I know that makes over like 200-something K that doesn't complain about his tax policy. So I don't know what you make doing this. It's probably more than I make. I kind of wish I did what you do to a degree. But if you're making more than 200K,
Can I grab it real quick?
then I'm sure you can complain. But I'm benefiting, and I make less than you probably.
Okay, so for
I don't understand what is the argument? Does he think that people that make money, does he think that people like me didn't benefit from Trump's tax policies? What is he arguing? Poor people obviously liked Trump's tax policies because if you were poor, you did save money on your taxes. Trump's tax policy shit did help you, especially that big increase in the standard deduction was really helpful. But that doesn't mean it hurt wealthy people. And I'm pretty sure it helped wealthy people more than poor people, which is generally the whole point or the whole reason why people complain.
First of all, you said that Trump's tax policy benefited the low and middle class more than it benefited rich people. That claim is false. 83% of the tax cuts in the bill went to the top 1%, went to people making over $400,000 a year.
Quoting to the Center for American Progress, if the Trump tax cuts are extended, those who make $500K a year or more would receive the biggest benefit, while those making $500K or $50K or less per year would receive the smallest benefit.
And it cost the American taxpayer $1.9 trillion through debt-related spending, and it only is going to lead to an average annual GDP increase of 0.02%. Please allow me to finish. Right? So it is a case that didn't benefit the low and middle class more so than the top 1%, and only is leading to a greater income inequity.
I don't believe you, and I don't agree with you, and I've
Okay,
seen
so that's
no
coming
data.
from-
I've seen no data to support that.
Okay, so that's coming from the Tax Policy Foundation. That's coming from other economic sources that we find online to be able to distribute how much it costs. Okay. So is it all right if I give you my reasons why I'd say he doesn't care about the American people?
In 10 seconds or less.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I mean, I feel like in order to have productive dialogue, right, we have to be able to distinguish why I believe the things that I say.
Okay,
why you
and then I'll
disagree.
let you know why I believe the things that I do.
Okay, so the reason I'd say that Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people is because he has incessantly placed himself above the American people. One of the best examples of this was in 2020 when he denied the outcome of the election and then he attempted to stage a coup against our government in an attempt to rig the outcome of the 2020 election by sending fake certificates of ascertainment to Congress to be certified as real. That was the greatest internal attack on our government since the Civil War. Another example would be the border. He consistently placed himself above the American people in that respect. He torpedoed Langford's bill in the Senate that would specifically brought
Okay,
the
so
crisis 2 years ago.
Okay, you've got
because he
three.
didn't want to give the Democrats a win.
Let's slow
And then
down.
Another example.
Wait, no. Let's slow down because you just put out so much, and let's unpack that a little bit.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the first thing that one thing I would like to say: does Donald Trump care about the American people? Donald Trump went to East Palestine. Joe Biden waited 6 months. Okay. Donald Trump.
Wait, what?
went to
Hold
East
on.
Palestine. One thing I would like to say: does Donald Trump care about the American people? Donald Trump went to East Palestine. Joe Biden waited 6 months.
Why does this shit, the picking and choosing of going to the picking and choosing of going to disaster sites is one of the most arbitrary, stupid fucking things of proving who the is doing anything. It's so cringe when people do this. It's so fucking cringe when people do this.
Okay? Donald Trump went to the military families of the soldiers that were killed at Abbey Gate. Joe Biden forgot their names. Families of the soldiers that were killed at Abbey Gate. Joe Biden forgot their names.
Trump literally was shitting on a Gold Star family. Like, what do you, come on.
Donald Trump went and visited the people who...
Also, the train derailment literally wasn't that big of a deal, but we can't talk about that. Well, it was a big deal because conservatives made it sound like they were literally trying to poison the entirety of the state of Ohio or whatever.
Whose families were killed by migrants that were criminals. Joe Biden won't mention their names. Donald Trump let me, an average American citizen, go to his house 3 times.
Okay, do you mind like responding?
What? You're an average... Wait, I'm sorry. Can any American citizen just go to Trump's house? What do we...
My reasons why.
Okay, let's start with reason 1. Every election in history has had challenges, including Bush v. Gore. There have always...
Oh, if this comes up, I'm going to lose it. I will lose it. Oh my God, I will lose it.
Has been alternate electorals. I believe that January 6th helped Democrats well more than it ever did Republicans. You know why? Because it stopped the debate on the floor. And I, as a Republican, wanted to see that debate on the floor that day. I had problem with the elections. In 2022, my son's vote didn't arrive, and I was candidate.
Okay, I just want to clarify. So you do affirm that Trump sent fake slates of electors to 7 different states?
They were not fake. There's always alternate slates of
You're
electors.
lying. She's a liar. Liar. She's a liar. She's lying. Because she's a shitty, dog shit human being.
In every single
That is not
election.
true. That is
That
not
is true.
That is not true.
That is true.
Can you
I
give me
worked on the Ron Paul campaign.
Is it possible
when you were like 5.
Is it possible
this
that
has happened
Okay.
all the time?
Okay, yeah. Could you give me another example of a sitting U.S. president not agreeing with the outcome of the 2020 election, then going to the DOJ? Trump told Bill Barr to announce widespread voter fraud when there wasn't any.
They didn't investigate it.
They did. You're lying. You're a liar. You're a liar. You're a fucking liar.
They didn't investigate
But, you know,
every single
they
case.
did. There were
Every
63
single
court
case
cases.
that were dismissed on standing.
Because they didn't have sufficient evidence.
Standing is important. Where is Josiah at? Every time somebody talks now, I'm plagued. I had this nightmare. Okay? I woke up in a cold sweat, and every time I would close my eyes, it would be me standing in front of 100 people saying, Destiny is a child murderer. He's killed 400 kids. And then Josiah would be my friend defending me who said, well, let's say that I grant you that. Okay? Let's grant that. Okay? That doesn't mean, let's grant that. Okay? What if we granted that? Okay? Oh, I'm going to... Also, I see Pisco out there too. You, Pisco. Saying some shit like, I'm sorry, but standing is important, okay? If you don't have standing, you don't have the right to complain about a thing. And if you think you have a legitimate case, then find somebody with standing to file the case. You filing a case knowing that you don't have standing, when you have a whole team of lawyers supposedly to do it, shows that you are either filing without merit, or you know it's a bullshit-ass case, and you're just trying to weaponize the legal system. Standing matters. I don't like how people just throw it around like it's a whoa.
No, because the judges said they never saw the evidence.
Okay, I'm gonna
they
go to
never
tell you
saw
what
the
happened.
And
evidence.
that's not true. Over half of the cases, or 30 of the 64, a little less than half the cases in the that conservative docket, the Lost Not Stolen in 2022, where the conservative judges and ex-politicians or whatever, where they go over the cases, like 30 of them, the evidence was considered. The evidence was dog shit evidence.
Election.
So
Donald Trump
you're
formed
going to
his
tell me
own-
what you think happened, but I'm going to tell you that you're wrong.
Okay, one moment, ma'am. Donald Trump formed, right, an election integrity committee where he appointed his people and gave them millions
And
of
what's
dollars.
happening
Can I
now?
finish?
No, I do mind because
Standing versus merits feels like it's some bureaucracy thing. We need a better name or way to present that argument. No, you don't. Because if you thought for like 12 seconds about what it means, it would immediately and obviously make sense to you. Because we use this all the time in real life, okay? If I went to John's parents and I go to John's, I was like, hey, I think you guys need to be nicer to John, okay? And I'm like a kid who's like in 3rd grade, and John is like a 5th grader, and we're not like even friends. The parents will look at me and go, who the are you? Why the would I listen to anything that you have to say? I don't even know what the you're in. Like, you don't even have an involvement in this. Why the do you care how we parent? Who the are you, right? People do this intuitively all the time. If somebody comes up and complains, who are you to complain? What is your relationship with this particular ordeal? People think in relationships all the time. Who are you to file a complaint about this? Who are you to tell me how to parent my kids? Who are you to tell me how to teach my students? Who are you to tell me how to do whatever thing? Like we intuitively, we have an understanding of what standing means. It's just I don't care. Okay.
Okay, man, if you can't allow me to finish, we can't have a productive conversation.
Well, we
here.
can't have a productive conversations when you have an entire 20 minutes and filibuster the whole thing.
Okay.
Has he even talked? I don't think he spoke barely at all. What the fuck? She just like rattled off like 52 conspiratorial points after he got 3 out.
Well, if you want to talk, go ahead, but you're not allowing me the time
Okay,
to
but
demonstrate
you're-
why I believe in what I do.
Okay, but you're not allowing me to say basic fact of what has happened in this instance. Every person that runs for election has the opportunity to challenge an electoral process. That is not illegal. What's happening now is you've got attorneys that were looking into the election fraud, which the Biden
Lies, 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 liar, liar, lie, 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 lie. It's all just lies. All they do is lie at the end of the day. All you have to do is fucking lie. All you gotta do is be a fucking liar. I was gonna wait for this person to come on last night, but fuck that. I don't care. I don't know if this person was in the space or not. They said that I called them out. Here are 2 times the certification of ballots was delayed for the presidential election in comments. And it happened with more elections than just presidential. And I know you called me out personally, Destiny. And if you're still going, when I put my kids to bed, I'll accept. So they linked 2 things. The 2000 presidential election, Bush v. Gore. One of the most famous delays in certification occurred during the 2000 election when the results of Florida were contested. The issue went to the U.S. Supreme Court, which ultimately halted the recount process, leading to George W. Bush's victory. Certification in Florida was delayed due to the legal battle over recounting ballots. 1876 presidential election, Hayes v. Tilden. This is one of the most notorious delayed certification. Disputed results in multiple states led to the formation of a special electoral commission, blah, 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 blah. Both of these examples are bullshit, okay? And I know they're bullshit because I understand the underlying material. So my first question is, because I know what's happening. I immediately know what's happening. This was AI. This is why I hate you retards. You, Dustin, why don't you use ChatGPT for research? Dustin, why don't you use I don't trust ChatGPT because the ChatGPT, all that shit sucks ass right now. For everything I've looked at it for, it's all dog shit. Maybe it helps you program for your whatever bullshit ass job you work where you're one of 12,000, okay, junior devs, and it helps you fill out some bullshit that you don't know the syntax for. But for actually comprehending like historical material or conceptual material, it's really dog shit, at least at this point in time. So obviously my first response is, was this a ChatGPT answer? And they said, yes, it was ChatGPT. The reason why I know it was ChatGPT is because when you talk about delaying the certification of the vote, I'm talking obviously about January 6th, which is when the elector vote is certified in Congress. If you want to be a little bit less charitable, you can say, well, hold on, Destiny. It's not just January 6th. What about in December when they have to certify the vote? In 2020, it was December 14th. Okay, fine. We can run with that too if you want. However, in Bush v. Gore, even the Florida state vote, I don't believe, was delayed in certification because I'm pretty sure the Supreme Court issued their decision one day before the 6-day safe harbor cutoff. I'm pretty sure we can look at Bush v. Gore, Wikipedia. Oh, we've even clicked the article before. What was the day for them to certify the vote? Certify. I think, December 18th is when the electors actually vote in Florida. The discretional safe harbor deadline was December 12th, just one day after the court heard oral arguments in the case. I think it was decided before this. Hold on, let me check. 5 justices agreed. December 12th was the deadline Florida had established for recounts in keeping with this bullshit. 3 justices did this. Oh, actually, we just have to see, when did they issue the opinion? They issued the opinion on December 12th, okay? So the Florida electors did vote within the safe harbor on time, and the election was certified on, I don't know if it's always January 6th or it's like the first Sunday or the date changes, whatever bullshit. But this certification was not pushed back in Congress, and the electors did vote on time. So the idea that the certification was delayed in Congress because of violence is wrong. It wasn't delayed at all in Congress. The electors voted on time. So that's wrong. Like, this thing is not comparable at all. The declaring the election won, maybe that was pushed back a few days because of the this recount thing. But we're not even at the same area. We're not even talking about the same thing. We're comparing apples to fire trucks at that point. So this example is stupid. And then the second example here is the Hayes v. Tilden election. When you're talking about the certification of the vote comes from, all of the dates come from the Electoral Count Act. This is where the certification comes from. It's the Electoral Count Act. So were there issues in this election? Of course there were. That's why the Electoral Count Act was passed. This was in 1876. The upness of this election is why they passed the ECA. So the idea of pointing to something prior to this, These are ChatGPT answers. Anyway, this is why it was stupid.
DOJ is now prosecuting, having their law licenses removed. We are watching communism in live action. And you know what? I want you to have a future.
Can you define communism?
Yeah, basically, it's mob rule. It's Marxism. It's mob rule.
It's Marxism? I love how everybody has their own definition for Marxism.
False. Literally all wrong. Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society.
Okay.
Ooh, I don't like this format. I'm going to be screaming at people. If somebody does this to me, they get to ramble, and then as soon as you talk, they fuck you, and then everybody raises the flag, and the next person comes? Hell no. We're going to take... Hold on. Before you say shit, I'm going to respond to the last person.
Communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society.
Okay.
Welcome in. Doing all right.
Trump's administration versus Biden's, objectively 2016 to 2020, and then under Biden so far, up to date. Objectively, the economy was better under Trump. Inflation was as high as, I believe, 9% under Biden. It's destroying the middle class, and then it's also putting people in more poverty. So how does that make Trump not be in support of American people? If it's breaking down the middle class, putting people in more poverty.
Yeah.
So things in the grocery store are 4 times higher to pay for. People are having harder time to put food on the table for their families.
Yeah.
During the Biden administration versus Trump. So I want you to explain.
Well, let's start off here. Do you think that the Biden-Harris administration caused inflation?
Yeah, because under Trump's administration and the policies he induced, inflation was never that high.
Okay.
Do we not remember COVID? Did that just not exist? Did we just... That wasn't a real thing?
And then after COVID hit and Biden's administration took over
Oh, wait, hold on. What'd you say?
Things skyrocketed. Gas prices, grocery
So
stores, everything.
your argument here is because it happened in the country while they were president, they caused it. So my question to you is, did Donald Trump cause the highest rate of unemployment that we've had since the Great Depression in August of 2020 at 14.8% simply because
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Because he said, well, no, that was because of COVID.
it happened under his administration?
No, simply because people couldn't leave their home, which was, causing people to.
And now we're introducing external variables. So in the same way COVID caused, right, that high rate of unemployment that we had under Trump's term, COVID also caused the global inflation that we saw onset at the beginning of the Biden-Harris administration. This didn't happen locally in the U.S. This inflation happened all around the globe. But a fun fact here, the Biden-Harris administration actually ushered in the quickest response from the inflation onset by the pandemic out of any other country in the G7.
I had another point, which was that.
Appreciate you for going, man.
Jesus.
What I've noticed, because I work in retail for some seasons and I've seen a huge bloodshed of Colombians coming in. Okay, we just got to be really realistic here about the economy. So yes, I think that kind of blaming causation and kind of correlating that to the current president, it's a little bit of a slippery slope. However, I think that when you look at the border and the way that everything has been coming in with migration, of course that the economy became better. Why? Because a lot of Colombians came in, right? And they started working and they started inputting more taxes. All these fake socials that they get, they start contributing to the tax money. They pay more taxes every year, and the government basically hides this by grabbing an app, and they basically use that as an ankle bracelet replacement so that people don't find out. Instead of putting an ankle bracelet on people's ankles, they hide the fact that they're allowing all these illegal immigrants come in. So the economy has become such a success, per your statement that it's been a success in the last 4 years, because all these immigrants have been contributing to the tax dollars that the government has been wanting. And so hence Medi-Cal.
So you'd agree that immigration is good for the economy?
The immigration issue is they're being paid less money than the average salary. So I don't understand how that's good for the American people. I think that if you can properly execute someone immigrating into this country legally and doing it rightfully and everything, like, yes, you can manage the amount of the way the economy is working.
Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit confused on what you just shared with me, but we have a problem, and that is undocumented migration, correct?
Yes.
This is another reason why I say Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. Because Donald Trump
Well,
doesn't...
if he cared
Mind
about...
if I finish?
Go ahead.
Because Donald Trump doesn't care about the southern border. I have a question for you.
Okay.
If your house was burning down, and a fire truck showed up to put the fire out, and you told them to turn around because you wanted the insurance money from letting it burn, did you care about your house?
Of course.
No.
So the idea would be, if you...
This is like the ultimate example of like debate brain stuff, right? This is where like you're so in it. It's like, hold on, wait. Can I just check for 1 second? Would you say that 1 + 1 = 5? Yes. Yes, I would.
For you.
Okay.
If your house was burning down, and a fire truck showed up to put the fire out, and you told them to turn around because you wanted the insurance money from letting it burn, did you care about your house?
Of course.
No. So the idea would be, if you let the house burn down to get the insurance money, you wouldn't care about your house. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, right? So when we have a crisis at the southern border, and we have the fire truck, or in this case, right, an amazing border bill that would have ended the crisis years ago, proposed to Congress by Langford, a Trump-endorsed Republican, and then Donald Trump turns around and calls up the Republicans in the House and the Senate and tells them to vote against the bill because he doesn't want to give the Democrats a win, and he wants the ability to be able to campaign on the crisis at the southern border now. Does Donald Trump care about the southern border?
So basically what you're doing is you're trying to attack and kind of deflate the right? But at the end of the day, we got to realize that no side is potentially perfect, because clearly the Democrats are going to see that the right are horrible, and the right's going to see that the Democrats are also.
But do you mind answering the question there? Because I did make an important point there that I don't think should go unnoticed. noticed, right? In the same way in the hypothetical, if you let your house burn down and told the fire truck to turn away, you don't care about the house. And if Donald Trump lets the crisis at the southern border continue and tells like the Republicans in the House and the Senate to turn the border bill around in 2022, he doesn't care about the southern border.
Look, the border's always going to have a crisis. There's human trafficking constantly. If you look at the narcotics, if you look at all these drug dealers that are coming in, right?
Hi, thanks for coming up, man. What's your name? Jordan. Jordan, nice to meet you. Dean, we have 3 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock here. I would like to bring up a huge reason why I'd say that he doesn't care about the American people. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Cool. It's because how much he lies. Donald Trump is an incessant, unapologetic liar. He lied to the American public over 30,000 times while he was president. He told the biggest lie that any sitting president has ever told with the denial of the 2020 election. And what is the Achilles tendon to a democracy? An uninformed voter base.
You have to have you need more punchy lines, I think. The numbers and the stats don't do anything. 30,000 lies, like that's going in one ear and out the other. Like, oh, according to who? The liberal media fact checkers?
Has misled his voter base, has made them misinformed, has made them engage in fringe conspiratorial hearsay by...
Why does she look so mad? Why does she look so mad? Why? Oh my God. The Trump women are so upset.
Has made them misinformed, has made them engage in fringe conspiratorial
Look at how angry she
hearsay
is.
by his incessant lies.
The one in the back was mad too.
Okay. Can you give me any reasons why you think Joe Biden cares about American people more than Trump?
Okay, I mean, yeah, sure. First of all, Kamala Harris is running for president right now.
No, Joe Biden.
Joe Biden, sure. Yeah, because Joe Biden...
The Democratic.
Of course. Because Joe Biden passed 4 pieces of monumental legislation that benefited the low and the middle class more than it benefited the top 1%. We could talk about the PACT Act, investing $800 million into the expansion of VA healthcare benefits. We could talk about the Chips and Science Act, bringing 20% of the global chip production back to here at home in America by 2030. We could talk about the infrastructure bill, investing $1 trillion into local communities across the U.S., spurring their economies and creating new construction jobs. Or we could talk about the Inflation Reduction Act, investing millions of dollars into renewable energy resources to reduce inflation in the long term by addressing supply chain issues now. Those are 4 big policies that I would say demonstrate Biden's care for the American people.
Okay, 4 years ago under Trump, did you see benefits going towards immigrants and war?
Oh, Dean also has a big problem here that like, hold on, wait. Can you acknowledge that what I just said is true? You need to get those, you gotta force that concession or you don't move on from it rather than just like hopping to the next point. These are like Rob Norris strategies where there's, okay, let's hop. And then as soon as they've got you on something that you're not like on the most firm footing on, this is where they're gonna wanna sit and wait for the rest of the conversation.
Okay, 4 years ago under Trump, did you see benefits going towards immigrants and wars more than American people?
Did we see? No, and we don't see that now.
Oh, we don't see it now?
No.
Bro, I moved here from Chicago, and 4 years under Trump, I wasn't seeing immigrants sleeping outside of police stations, gathered in gangs and doing drugs.
Yeah? Under Trump in Chicago, there were no gangs? Really? What part of Chicago? How north are we? What part of Chicago are we in? Where under Trump, there were no gangs and no shootings in Chicago. Really? Okay.
Drugs outside police stations, living in high-rise hotels, getting benefits.
Oh, if you're just there's more immigrants coming into our country now than there was
free money.
That's true.
But earlier, didn't you say it was the same?
Oh no, I said it's the same right now. So after Biden's executive order on the border, we have the same amount of daily crossings today across our southern border as we had at the end of Trump's term.
At the end of Trump, it was more.
Yeah, it was the same or more at the end of Trump's term.
You literally just said we have more immigrants coming in now.
Okay, so over the 4-year presidency of Biden and Harris, there has been more migration across the southern border because of the revocal of Title 42, causing a surge of entries into our country. After Biden's
that was not going on during Trump. Am I right?
Yeah, right. So we had lower crossings under Trump, but I don't think we could say because there's lower crossings under Trump than under Biden and Harris that Biden and Harris caused that. Let me ask you a question, or more so make a statement. I'd look at the southern border like a river, and I'd look at Title 42, what was enacted at the end of Trump's term because of COVID, like a dam. As soon as that dam is lifted from the river, the water gushes through, just like when Title 42 was reversed and all these people that have been turned away for the last 2 years that are coming to our country because of economic disparities onset by COVID in their own, rushed into our country.
The one thing that I look at that shows how he cares for the American people is that he's a multi-billionaire that chose to run for president, and he's one of the only presidents that's net worth has actually gone down.
Oh my God, that's so crazy. How f***ing stupid would you have to be to make that f***ing argument? Like what, like he intentionally sacrificed his wealth? Why didn't he divest from his f***ing businesses? You're gonna tell me because this guy was a f***ing retard that all of a sudden that means he was doing a selfless act?
If he didn't care for the American people, why would he even go out of his way, lose his worth to run for president?
Great question. And here's what I'd say. I'd say that Donald Trump has billions of dollars, literally speaking. He doesn't care about money. He wants something else. He wants power, right? And being able to force himself into the highest position of ranking power in the world is a big deal. And that's what he wants. He doesn't really care about the American people, or else he would have enacted legislation for the low and middle class, or else he would have not tried to over...
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is an app and website that is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Their team of journalists believe that unbiased news should be the standard and not just the exception. So they report down the middle with facts, delivering news without bias, filter, or spin. Plus, their Media Mist tool allows you to discover news that's being underreported or not even reported at all by different sides of mainstream media. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News.
Wow.
The work they're doing gives us a complete picture of the news straight from our phones and tablets with their app. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out.
Wow.
By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel, you're also supporting a group of journalists that are raising the bar on news and focusing on serving you unbiased.
Everyone is wrong and Destiny is right, Lamau. No. I'm on the side of the majority here, okay? You're the one that lives in the delusional, the TDS land, where you literally have Trump suck syndrome, and all you can do is believe every single thing that he tells you, okay? That's it. Hop into disagreements if you want to fight over it, dipshit.
Bias, straight facts. Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is Kamala Harris would be a much better president than Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris has had many chances. When she was a district attorney in San Francisco, she convicted more people of minor crimes than any other DA of San Francisco. And I know this too because I lived in San Francisco for a period of time, and I understand the criminal justice system to a certain extent. So
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, because he got arrested for stalking his ex. What a wild statement to make. Navarro has a criminal record including placing tracking devices on an ex-partner's car and violating restraining orders.
if you have her as president, she's going to go after people for minor offenses.
The econ issue from the Biden admin has more to do with the green initiatives driving up shipping, thus causing living prices up. I know everyone thinks they're the next Da Vinci when they come at you, but I feel like I could be a far more productive pushback. Cool.
She's going to try to convict people for even marijuana, for example. I mean, come on. Most people in this country have already been past this whole issue with cannabis and everything. And I think that's something that now that should be overlooked, and it should be something that should be legalized on a federal level as well. But I do believe that Kamala Harris, if she convicted people of small, petty stuff, like people having this minor amount of marijuana and had the highest conviction rate in San Francisco, how can you have someone like that as president? And she also was also married into the Getty family. John Paul Getty that is an elite family in the state of California. So how is it?
I thought, so wait, so we don't go after people for minor crimes? Because I thought one of the big problems, did this guy say he was in the San Francisco area? I thought one of the big problems with San Francisco is that we stopped going after people for minor crimes, right? Wasn't a big issue that we would allow shoplifters to leave if they didn't steal enough money, that cops weren't responding to petty theft enough? So are some minor crimes okay and some minor crimes aren't okay? Or like, what do we actually give a about?
That you're going to say, oh, Kamala Harris is better than President Trump.
Of course. First, let's respond to a couple of your claims there. How many people did she convict? Not clear. 45. And what did she do in 2014?
45. You're saying she convicted only 45 people of possession of marijuana?
Yes. And what did she do?
That is not true. That is not true. That she.
Well, BB Harris was San Francisco DA. Her office won convictions in 1,956 felony and misdemeanor marijuana cases, according to the Bay Area News Group. 45 people convicted were sentenced to state prison. Okay, so 45 were sentenced to state prison, but she got around 2,000 convictions. What did he say?
So how is it that you're going to say, oh, Kamala Harris is better than President Trump?
Of course. First, let's respond to a couple of your claims there. How many people did she convict? Not clear. 45. And what did she do in 2014?
45. You're saying she convicted only 45 people of possession of marijuana?
Yes. And what did she do?
That is not true. That is not true that she convicted only 45 people of marijuana. If she was a district attorney and she had other DAs in the district attorney's office,
do you mind if I finish talking?
Prosecuting those small crimes.
Yes, sir.
She had more than 45 convictions in that office alone.
So yeah, she only had over.
You had a lot of time to talk. I mean, the whole time. I really don't have a lot of time here. But so what I'm saying is,
I just want to be able to finish this bit out.
Go ahead.
Without
45 convictions, but you're not giving me facts.
Yeah. So while she was DA, it is a.
Jesus. Wait, like, hold on. Wait, am I crazy? Am I just not listening? It feels like he sat down, he spoke the entire time, and then he left. Wait, hold on. Am I?
All right.
What?
I don't believe that Kamala Harris would be a better president than President Trump. What I'm saying is,
I just want to be able to finish this bit out.
Go ahead.
Without
45 convictions, but you're not.
So he just so he just drew down 2 minutes on the clock and he didn't say shit.
Facts.
Yeah. So while she was DA, it is a.
Oh. Ooh. Hi, what do you want?
That?
Hello.
Oh, hey, I'd like to discuss. I'll wait until you're done with what you're doing. If
Wait, this sounds like Southern Cake.
I'd like to discuss quite a few things with regards to the election. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute the stream. I have a few things that I kind of have concern about whenever it comes to elections in general, which is that, well, a lot of people kind of vote for presidents like they're voting for a senator-in-chief, right? It's a commander-in-chief, and I feel like geopolitics are significantly more important than what people typically, go for. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Yeah, you're fine.
Because
okay.
There's a large crowd, but.
Okay, yeah. I mean, geopolitics is important. Yeah, foreign policy is important. What about it?
Yeah. Well, I was kind of going to give my argument for why I prefer Trump in that instance. I mean, I wanted Nikki Haley to win.
Sure.
the primaries, but there was no
What do we think Trump is good about when it comes to foreign policy?
Well, so when it comes to how you have to handle a lot of these regimes that are out there, for example, the CCP, Iran, etc.
Yep.
You need a heavy-handed approach, and Trump, for all his narcissistic issues, he does have that kind of heavy-handed approach. I think one of the
what
big
good things
disagreements
did Trump get out of North Korea, Iran, CCP, or Russia? What's one good thing he got from any of these countries?
One good thing that he got from, he killed that Iranian general. I think a lot of it is more of the sort of sense of peace that was in the Middle East at the time.
There wasn't. That's not true. Hold on. That's not true, right? You understand that the Syrian civil war was still raging on. You understand that Kurdish people were getting killed by the Turkish people.
The Islamic State, if you're talking about, are you talking about that or are you talking
about Syria? You understand that Iran attacked Saudi Arabia. You understand that the border riots were happening in Israel. Right. There was no peace in the Middle East. That's just absolutely and completely and totally not true.
Let me rephrase. There was peace in the Middle East for our allies and those on the Western bloc.
Saudi Arabia is not an ally of ours? Israel's not an ally of ours? This is just not true. What you're saying is just absolutely... No. What you're saying is...
Compared to now.
Absolutely not true. I don't care about compared to now. There was no peace in the Middle East. That's absolutely and totally and unequivocally untrue. There's this weird talking point of no new wars, but the reality is the last official war the United States declared was like World War II. So no, there was no peace in the Middle East. That is absolutely and unequivocally untrue. That is a total lie.
Poor wording. Let's rephrase.
Okay.
What I meant is that there was, I guess, more reservation about escalating conflicts.
No, there wasn't. That's not true either. Who says that?
I mean, I just want to take a look at the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the attack from Hamas, and a lot of the other
Do you think that those people waited for a Democrat to be in office and they were like, okay, now we're going to do this?
I think that human nature, the way people kind of, when you essentially vote in somebody who's kind of like, I wouldn't say his cognitive issues were as apparent at the time, but essentially we voted Biden in because Trump was a mean asshole. Most people.
Well, no, I think we voted. Sure. But I mean, like, Trump was also incredibly ineffective as a leader.
Well,
he didn't do anything to help the Middle East. He didn't do anything to help Ukraine, right? Crimea was still occupied the entire time. The civil war in the Donbass was raging on the entire time. What did Trump do to end either of those things?
Didn't the occupation happen before Trump got into office? So it wasn't like a new thing that had happened.
No, but it was still ongoing. He wasn't. Crimea was occupied in 2014, right? But it's not like Trump. Yeah, Trump didn't do anything about it to help the Ukrainians stop it. He didn't lay any hard lines down for Russia or Putin. The civil war in the Donbass was still raging on in the southeast. He didn't do anything to stop that. I mean, like what?
You know, you kind of make a good point there with the Crimean occupation. I didn't realize that I guess that he didn't necessarily do anything with regards to that. I was more a focus on the Middle East because I had been really, I guess, kind of emotionally invested in the Islamic State's kind of rise when I was in 2016. A big part of why I wanted Trump to win was because he was the only one really talking about taking a hard stance on it. And
wait, taking a hard stance on what?
On the Islamic State.
You don't think anybody else was fighting against the Islamic State? You don't think?
I'm not saying. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when it came to the rhetoric that Clinton was putting forth versus the rhetoric that Trump was putting forth, Trump's rhetoric was significantly more about hands-on, getting more hands-on with it. And also, he was also talking... one of the things that he did that no other presidential candidate I can recall ever really talked, he was talking about military spending with regards to, there was this plane that we had spent a ridiculous amount of money on, and we started it. I forget what it was, and we started rolling it out, and it was, everybody wanted the old. That's like there's this real nepotistic, which I know Trump very nepotistic himself, but and when it comes to military spending, there's this very. I'm struggling to find the words.
Are you thinking of the F-35?
I don't think it was the F-35. I remember it was what was it that replaced the A-10? Shit. I can't remember. But I remember that the A-10 was very effective, and all the pilots have been wanting it.
Yeah, it was the F-35. So nothing of, listen, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be harsh. Nothing of what you're saying is true. The F-35 ran over budget for a long time, and it was delayed a lot. That is true. There are a lot of people that shit-talked the F-35 program that was run by Lockheed through the 2010s even. That is true. When people online and when, like, I'm trying not to be mean. When people online started talking about the F-35, they would say that the F-35 was an inferior platform because it would lose in a dogfight to some other fucking planes, an F-16 or whatever the fuck, some planes. But the reality is the F-35 was not designed as a plane that's just supposed to dogfight. That's not the goal of the plane.
The A-10 wasn't.
Sure, that's fine. But the
yeah.
F-35 now is considered to be an unbelievably successful program. Everybody around the world, okay, is begging to buy these planes from us. We have sold an ungodly amount to other countries. I'm pretty sure at this point it's considered a widely successful program. Like, this is an amazing plane. It's an amazing platform. And it's an amazing system. So anybody that was shitting on the F-35 before because it ran over budget, and it did take a long time, that was annoying, and it did run over budget, I believe, as well.
Yes.
But at this point, it's considered to be a very, very, very good platform.
At this point, yes. But I'm talking about where I was at in 2016, right?
Okay, sure.
And the kind of, it was refreshing to me that somebody was actually talking about this shit, right? Because everybody, the euphemism I like to put when it comes to, to presidential elections, that people kind of look for a senator-in-chief instead of a commander-in-chief. We're looking for a fry cook, and everybody goes on about their baking skills, essentially. I liked that he was actually talking, right? And yes, it did prove to be not as detrimental, and it's been very successful, as you said. People were wanting their hands on it. But at the time when I was seeing the kind of chaos and devastation, also I had come to understand the role that the Obama administration had played in the kind of chaos that had been happening in the Middle East at the time. And I know this is old shit. If you don't want to talk about it, move on. But I'm kind of talking about what my sense of where I was coming from at the time. I guess it's not really relevant now, but the Obama administration had been very supportive of a lot of the terroristic actions in the Middle East, and essentially the way they decided to deal with geopolitics and dealing with Syria and the like is to try and fund indirectly terrorist organizations and cause destabilization efforts, which is very classic. But
well, wait, how do you feel about the Trump administration signing a deal with the Taliban in Afghanistan then, and cutting out the Afghanistan government completely?
You talking about the? I really hate that we left Afghanistan.
No, but the Trump administration signed a deal exclusively with the Taliban without including the Afghanistan government in the talks at all.
When he was pulling out, yeah, I didn't like that. It's like we're never going to get perfect what we want, right?
Well, it's not about being perfect. I'm just saying that if like working with terrorist groups or something bothers you, it seems like that was like the most official pen to paper deal we've ever had with a group of people that we might consider terrorists.
Right. But I think there's a bit of a difference between withdrawing and trying to have a agreement with the organization that you were fighting and that you're withdrawing from, right? Versus indirectly funding through various sort of side programs, terroristic actions within multiple countries to try and destabilize the governments. Wouldn't you say there's a difference?
What are the terroristic actions that we were funding?
Well, I guess we were technically funding the terrorist actions by funding the terrorists.
What terrorists are referring to? What is the thing we're referring to here?
Well, first was the organization that would come to be the Islamic State. It wasn't the Islamic State. That's where you get the fact checkers going like, oh, yes, the Obama administration never funded the Islamic State. It was an indirect backdoor program that was funding the organization.
I'm not aware of that. I could be wrong. I'm just not aware of that at all. I think that, if anything, we might have been a roundabout way supported the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, I think, when they were fighting in Syria. Baghdadi picked up a lot of people initially fighting in Syria, and then he went over to Iraq, I think, and he recruited a lot more. I don't know. There might have been some roundabout funding, but there was like, when it came to the Syria civil war, you could look at the wiki, there's like 50 different groups involved in fighting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think... But I don't know if a significant amount of early ISIS stuff, like pre-ISIS orgs, came from American funding. That's not my understanding.
Well, but it was more of the general approach. For example, Obama had helped, again, not directly helped, but it shown support for the Islamic Brotherhood, for example, which was fighting in Syria. That's one that was really sticking in my mind. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, it's like...
Yeah, it's fine. It's been a while.
It's almost it's been a long time, so I don't have it like as fresh on my memory. At the time, it was like I was wanting to go fucking die in Syria helping the Kurds at the time, but, Lions of Rojava were only taking people that had military experience.
All right. I want to go chat with the keys guys, but hey, listen, I appreciate the conversation. Maybe we'll chat later, okay?
Maybe. All right.
Be careful.
Hello.
Howdy, welcome back.
Well, okay, so you keep bringing up the border and you keep bringing up the Senate bill.
Langford's bill, absolutely.
The Senate bill never passed.
You want to know why?
What did pass was H.R. 2, which again has been sitting on Schumer's desk, which actually closed the border. Talking to Brandon Judd.
If it's sitting on somebody's desk, that means it didn't pass. Is Dee not aware of that? You need to call her out on this. That means it did not pass.
President of Border Patrol. What I can tell you is the Senate bill was better than what it is now with 14,000 people coming through the border every day and 300,000 migrant children missing, feared, sold into sex slavery. Now, H.R. 2 did close the border, and that is the one that actually passed the House that Schumer has ignored. So I'm really sick of hearing, oh, Trump stopped the Senate bill. The Senate bill didn't pass.
You know why?
Because it was a bad bill. It codified the invasion.
Okay, so first of all, no, it was not a bad bill, and second of all, the reason it didn't pass is because Trump called the Republicans in Congress and told them not to pass it. Right? We see what's like. Do you mind if I finish without interruption?
Congress does not.
I don't know if this is a tactic that he got from TikTok, like asking, like, can I finish? He needs to just say his point. Don't ask for permission. Just say your point, because now she's just going to talk.
Vote on Senate bills.
Yes, we'd see that. Do you mind if I finish without interruption?
This dumb ran for office? What do you think Congress is?
All the Republicans in Congress and told them not to pass it. Right? We see what's like. Do you mind if I finish without interruption?
Congress does not vote on Senate bills.
She's mixing up Congress with House of Representatives.
Yes, we'd see that Senate, like if a bill's...
But what? Why did I even let myself get sucked into that? That doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they have to pass the exact same bill anyway, right? If you pass something in the House and then it goes to the Senate, if the Senate amends the bill, doesn't it have to go back to the House for signing anyway? So at the end of the day, don't you have to sign the exact... Hold on, the Senate can't make changes to a bill without it... Am I right on that? Hold on, I need to double check. I'm pretty sure you both have to pass the exact same bill. But what is she even... Who is this? What is this lady's name? She said she ran for... No. Did she say she ran for office, or she just said she interviewed somebody? Maybe she didn't.
In the Senate, go to the House, back to the Senate.
Exactly. Congress does not vote on Senate bills.
Yes, we'd see that Senate, like if a bill's made in the Senate, go to the House, back to the Senate.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Okay. This is what like reconciliation is, right? Is where you reconcile the bill and make it the same between both bullshit or whatever, right?
Exactly, and it never made it out of the Senate, so therefore it's
it went
moot
to the House.
void.
It went.
What do we?
To the House, right? And
no, it never made it out of the Senate. I talked to Senator Mike Lee about that. It never got out of the Senate because it was a bad bill.
Oh, Mike Lee. Why do I know that name as an American traitor? Why do I know this guy's name? What did he do? What was he involved in? No. I'm wrong on that. I'm so sorry. Mike Lee, you're not anti-American. You are a great American, and I love you. I don't know if I love him or not. Never mind. When Trump was trying to call Senator Tuberville, he accidentally called Mike Lee, and he left a voice message on his phone. It was when the riots, the insurrection was going on, and Trump was trying to get people to flip on their votes to certify the election. He might be anti-American too, but it wasn't for the thing I was remembering.
However, HR2 did get out of
HR
2 did get out of the House.
And with all due respect,
you don't want to hear about HR2 that actually secured the election.
I would love to hear about HR2. However, I would also like to finish what I was saying about.
Well, everybody's heard for the last 19 minutes what you had to say about this. Okay, I got a minute. As far as Kamala Harris being better than Trump, she's destroyed the border. She's been absent. Nobody knows where she is. 6 months ago, even the media was saying she was the worst vice president in history.
How has she destroyed the border?
She hasn't done anything about it. They have walked away. She hasn't gone there. She hasn't talked to Border Patrol. She hasn't met with Border Patrol.
Okay, I'm confused because the last person that came up said that she had gone there. Now you're saying that she hasn't.
An hour from San Antonio after she met with Lester Holt, and Lester Holt said, you haven't been to the border. She goes, I haven't been to Europe either.
So that was in September 2021?
So, that's who we're talking about.
So that was in June of 2021. She went in July 2021. I would like to preface here that the Biden administration has passed an executive order on the border. And
because it's an election year.
Because it's an election year. And no, it's not just because it's an election term. They tried to influence Langford's bill through the Senate.
It was a bad bill.
Called them and told them
it never left the Senate.
If you were starving,
it never left the Senate.
No,
you won seconds. If you were seconds, we're not going to.
Okay, I feel like I can't get anywhere with you.
Well, I feel like I can't get anywhere with you because you.
So how do we find middle ground? We do.
Wait, never mind. Mike Lee is a piece of shit. He was texting Sidney Powell and shit over these bullshit lawsuits. Okay, never mind. Okay. He is Mike Lee.
That by allowing each other to speak without interruption, I'm willing to do that for you. Are you willing to do that for me?